А следующее видео, которое мы посмотрим, на 4 минуты, называется I'm gay and I don't like penetrative sex.
Coming out for me.
Мне нужно это перевести, я не знаю, что это за слово. Ну, у меня есть догадки, но нужно бы воспользоваться Google переводчиком. Так, окей. Только как это... Окей.
Was a little bit different. I'm from the Virgin Islands, being Caribbean.
Я просто не понимал не сильно контекста. Да, я уже перевел, что проникающий. Ну ладно, давайте посмотрим. О чем же все-таки речь идет. 4 минутки нам задонатили. Ой, точно, надо субтитры, наверное, включить.
And being queer isn't naturally
Так, это он, да?
accepted by most people.
I came out when I was 16 years old. I came out to my parents in a very loud, colorful Mexican restaurant because I knew that they wouldn't be able to cause a scene there.
I came out when I was 13. I don't think I fully came out because on top of that, there was the fact that I was trans.
I kind of always knew, but I didn't have a name for it. I just enjoy oral sex, touch, massaging, everything you could think you could do in sexual intercourse, with the exception of anal.
Oftentimes, I would go out with these guys. In a lot of cases, when I would have that conversation, the response I would get would be, oh, so you don't have sex. This whole idea that penetrative anal sex was sex in itself and everything else was just foreplay.
Бля, ебать проблему у людей в Соединенных Штатах.
Covering.
Хотел сказать проблему белых людей, но тут как бы не все белые были.
The term side, I thought, okay, there's finally a term that approximately, describes what I like to do.
A side. It's like someone who doesn't want to be penetrated or to penetrate someone. It's someone that just enjoys everything else, the other sides of like sex.
I really think that historically sex has been centered around penetration and climax. That's how you make babies, right? So sex education is only focused on not doing this particular act. And I think people have gotten conditioned or brainwashed into thinking that that's the only way to have sex. The different same-sex sexual experiences include topping, being the one giving anal sex, the one bottoming, the one receiving anal sex. And then there's just people who are averse, who just like to have it go both ways. Stereotypical traits that come with these, the top is usually seen as more alpha, more masculine, more straight acting, a term I hate. And the bottoms are often seen as more feminine and more passive, which is not necessarily true. And sides are seen as immature and not fully developed. Usually, gay men are good at, I think, best at talking about what they want and what they don't want. So if they're both sides, they're going to engage and talk about oral sex, rimming, kissing, mutual masturbation, all kinds of...
Блядь, визуализация, конечно, пиздец.
Sexual activity, but it will not include penetration. There might be sex toys, and the sex toys might be used anally, but you're not going to have PIB, penis and butt, or PIA, penis and anus activity. That's not going to happen. It's not a right.
Ебать проблема у американцев, это пиздец. Ну, вообще, ладно, пизда какая-то.
For people or sides. So I created the term side. I was talking to some friends, and we were talking about tops.
Это, короче, новый повод выдумать еще один гендер. Люди, которые любят секс, но не любят penetrative sex. И это типа должен быть какой-то новый гендер. А из этого гендера можно еще 10 составить, потому что кто-то любит гей-секс, кто-то любит обычный, кто-то любит би, кто-то любит еще с другими гендерами. И там еще гендеров 100 можно придумать, короче, сходу. Так что тут еще все впереди, походу. Пишет, это визуализация для детей рассчитана. Ну, я не знаю, в принципе. Ну, это вообще не для детей, это просто на цензуру. Они же не будут ничего показывать, с одной стороны, а тем более YouTube. Не думаю, что это детский сильно контент. Может быть, подростковый, да.
Well, I'm neither one. I don't...
Пишет, Влад проникается в американскую культуру. Не, бля, я, конечно, охуеваю с того, что реально происходит. Что-то уже пошло в какую-то вообще, в какие-то дебри.
do any of that. Maybe I'm a side. And everybody laughed. And then I thought, why can't that word be the word? Why can't I be a side? So that's when I decided I am going to be a side, and I'm going to write about it and make that a thing if it's possible. So I wrote that Huffington Post article in 2013. It was a huge step for me because I just started coming out publicly as a side. I knew there were other gay men that were just like me, and it was very popular. I was receiving hundreds of emails from gay men telling me that I had normalized their sex lives. Common misconceptions about sides are that they're virgins, that they are asexual, that there's been some kind of trauma that happened to them, that they haven't met the right guy, and all of these things are set against the standard, the gold standard of penetration, that if you're not doing that, you're not having sex.
Но, в принципе, почему? Тут говорится, что, типа, если нет penetration, то это не секс. Но, учитывая лесбийский секс, он же как бы по определению без всего этого.
I think that gay men don't even realize how much they still carry with them. The top has to be the man, the bottom is the woman. And then if you're a side and you're not having intercourse, then you're not really having sex. It all comes from the heterosexual normativity.
Так, ясно, вот на 4 минутки задонатили, слава богу. Ну, короче, тут уж Америка, когда куда-то обсуждения пошли не туда, люди придумывают себе какие-то хуй пойми, какие-то проблемы. Ну, окей, конечно. Ну, слава богу, у этого 85 тысяч просмотров. Видео выпущено 6 июля, значит, наверное, не сильно смотрят. Не знаю, что там с дизами, не с дизами, ну, окей. Ладно.